Hello, lovelies. It's a quiet wintry morning here, just outside of Sydney. Got a little bit of sunshine coming through, which is really nice. So needed a bit of brightness this morning. I wanted to thank you so much for everyone who left a kind, sweet little message when I released the pictures of my new releases on Instagram. I can't tell you how much that meant to me this week. It's meant more than I can say. I planned to do just a lovely little Flosstube. I was so looking forward to just getting together and having a chat about the new releases. I love being able to show you new pretty things and to talk about the latest Stitching in the Mountains retreat and the wonderful new venue we have for the next one, and we will get to all of that. But there's a situation going on now with the tariffs that I need to explain, because a lot of the designers and shops and dyers and businesses that we all love in the Stitchy community are really being given a gut punch at the moment by the current tariff situation. There was a development just a couple of days ago that I need to explain, so please bear with me. This affects everybody, whether you're in the US or not, because it affects whether a lot of businesses are literally going to remain in business. It's a lot. So I've not talked about politics on the channel because I'm aware that a lot of people find the Stitchy community a real refuge from that. And I respect that. I respect other people's opinions. I think if you read between the lines, you pretty much know where I stand. And it's one of the reasons I haven't been on social media much this past year or so, is because it's really hard for me to keep quiet and not speak up for the vulnerable and the suffering. It's really hard. The only reason I'm talking politics now is because it's directly affecting the Stitchy community. So I hope you'll bear with me for a few minutes while I talk about what's happening, and then we'll get on to the pretty stuff. So, yeah, I've tried to film this, I think 6 times now. Can't get through it without crying, so you're going to have to put up with me being the emotional person that I am. So, okay. As you know, the current US government has frankly started a trade war with the entire world and put all these tariffs on for frankly no logical reason. Now, until now, the tariff that was placed on Australia, which was 10%, one of the lowest in the world. We are long-term allies with the US. We actually have a trade surplus, so even under their insane logic, why we have it at all makes no sense. Up until now, it hasn't affected my business because of what's called the de minimis exemption. So this is a thing that what are considered low-value orders, so anything that's ordered under $800 is exempt from all duties and taxes. It's a relic from the frankly still arguably legal free trade agreement that we had. But it's commonly used between countries to support trade and sustain small business. So that means if anytime you've bought a pattern, thank you, from a store that stocks one of my ones, they haven't had to put the price up because of tariffs. If you've bought something from my Etsy store, thank you, I haven't had to put the prices up. You haven't been charged tariffs at the other end, that kind of thing. And just so that we're clear, there's a lot of disinformation out there about tariffs. Tariffs are an import tax. They are not paid by the external countries. They are paid by the person importing them. If you buy something as a customer from a shop outside of the US, tariffs are paid by you as they come into the country. Same thing for wholesalers. If a shop buys wholesale patterns from me, they would have to pay the tariff as they come into the country. They're not paid by the external countries at all. they're an import tax on the American consumer, just so that that's clear. The problem is when a big part of your business is with the US, this is potentially ruinous for a lot of people. Now, out of nowhere, the other day, the current US government decided they're getting rid of this de minimis exemption. Just out of nowhere. Now, I have been worried about this for over a year, and I've been planning for it. I didn't expect it to happen quite so soon, and it could not have happened at a worse time because of Marketplace. I'll go through what this actually means and what we know at the moment, but I mention this because I'm not alone. This is happening to a lot of your favourite designers and shops and dyers. We're all reeling with what to do and what this means. So, because the information that was provided was so unclear, we don't know exactly what's happening. In terms of it happening at Marketplace, it's going to come in just as the Marketplace orders were set to enter the US. Because of the way Marketplace is set up, we're not allowed to send things early to beat it. So, yeah. What we know at this point is that from the 29th of August, anything shipped in the US, into the US is going to be charged whatever that country's tariff was. For me, that means 10% because of the Australian rate. So that means that the prices that you see in shops will raise on my patterns, if they're even there at all. That's something I'll talk about in a minute. So my patterns will be more expensive, which means less people are likely to buy them. That raised price also isn't going to me, and it isn't going to your shops. I've not raised my prices in the 5 years I've been in business, despite the huge changes in cost of living, because I know times are tough and I've cut my own costs in other ways to try and keep the prices down for you. And the fact that these prices are going to go up now and that money is being collected by the government, and Lord knows what they're doing with it. Anyway, that's putting the cart before the horse, because in the very unclear information that they provided, it is unclear whether the tariff is going to be the only charge added to shipments going into the US. There is also very unclear wordage about whether they're going to put on an additional duty of $80 to $200 per package. Don't ask me why. The reason that they have given for doing this is that all shipments constitute, as far as I understand it, what they're saying is to prevent a national emergency threat. That's right. Because my cross-stitch patterns are just real scary. Anyway, this additional charge, we don't know if this is going to be applied, who it's going to be applied to, where it's going to be collected, whether it's going to cause an enormous backlog at the ports and everything is going to take 6 months to get through. We have no idea. In terms of Marketplace, this is devastating, because all the lovely shops that I have worked so hard to build relationships with and that would normally buy from me, I suspect they will not risk it at this point. I looked online this morning to see who had my stuff up for pre-order, and there's literally only 2 or 3. And I will be in touch with them to give them updates as we know, and they may decide to change their mind. I don't know. Yeah, this is really devastating. When this was happening to larger businesses, it was bad. larger businesses can wait through this until things are clear and can absorb some of the costs. Eventually, they're all passed on to the consumer, but small businesses can't do that. Small businesses go under like that. So, unless the situation is clarified, unless the de minimis exemption is removed, a lot of people are going to go out of business really fast. This is why it affects everybody, whether you're in the US or not. If you're in the US, that means if my patterns are available in stores, they will be more expensive. And please know, again, that is not coming to me. That is not going to the shop. That is going to cover the tariff. That is if they're even available. I suspect that what is more likely to happen is you'll just find a lot of things just simply aren't available anymore. Shops won't be willing to bring them in for the additional costs, and they simply won't be available. The solution that I have for this at this time is that PDFs are not charged the tariff, because they're not technically shipped in. They're not subject to the tariffs. So I will continue to sell PDFs on my website. As of the end of next week, I will suspend all physical shipping to the US from my Etsy store until things are clarified, just because I don't want you to be out of pocket for some outrageous amount or it to be stuck in customs for goodness knows how too long. This is a huge blow to me, but I just don't feel like I can do anything else. So if you had your eye on a thread pack or wanted anything physical, please consider buying it this week, because that's the only way I can make sure it gets to you before all of this happens. Going forward, going forward, I don't know yet. I will do what I can to stay in business. I designed this last year with this in mind. I'll keep planting my apple tree, because it's meant so much to me to be able to connect with you guys and to just help bring a bit of calm and a bit of joy into people's lives. Anyway, in terms of Marketplace, if you would like to help, it would mean a great deal to me if you could contact your stores and just let them know that you would buy one of my patterns, even if they are 10% more expensive. That might make them more likely to take the risk. But I also, please understand that if shops back out and decide that they don't want to, or if there was a delay in them getting them, please be patient with the shops, because we're all desperately trying to work out what this means and how this affects everybody. So I really appreciate your help and support of that. And please, just in general, think of small businesses and support them wherever you can, because this is going to be, if this isn't changed and changed really quickly, this is going to be really devastating to a lot of people. So anyway, that was the least crying I got through with this, so I think we'll keep this version. I've got peppermint tea here, trying to calm myself down. It's been a rough few days. That being said, this could all change overnight if certain people wake up in the morning and decide, oh yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. This could all go away. I will come back with updates as we know more, and I appreciate your patience, and I really appreciate your support. This is yeah, we'll get through it. So let me show you some pretty things, because I think we all need that after this. Yeah, Marketplace is, I can't believe it's happening right now. Marketplace is the only time that shops buy directly from me, so it's really, really important from designers. Those are people who can get to Nashville, that can do them too, because I'm overseas and because of my health and financial situation. I can't get to Nashville. Marketplace is the only time shops will buy from me. So it makes a really, really big proportion of my yearly income, which is why this has hit me so hard at the moment, because that looks like it's just going to be wiped out now. So anyway, this is why it's happening at such a bad time. Marketplace means a lot to a lot of us small businesses. And it means a lot to the shops as well. If they can't sell our products, that cuts down on their business as well. And we really want to support needlework stores and make sure they stay open. You know, we know how important they are. So it's a really hard thing. Anyway, I had kept over some releases to release here for Marketplace. And yeah, I'm not sure where they're going to be available now. They will be available in shops outside of the US. I'm looking to expand the reach of that, and if they're not available in any stores in the US, which is a distinct possibility, they will be available in my Etsy store 6 weeks or so after Marketplace. The shops who buy them first, they have the right to sell them exclusively first. So I can't sell them until a little bit after that. So that means some of my US customers may have to wait. The PDFs will be available then. You can avoid the tariffs completely and buy a PDF from me 6 weeks after Marketplace. That's the best I can offer at this time. Although I really encourage you to support your needlework stores and get them from needlework stores if you can. Yeah, so let me show you what I've got. A couple of them you may have seen before, because a couple of them were retreat exclusives that I now get to release more widely, including this first one that was done as a retreat exclusive for the Spring Stitches Gathering in Toowoomba last year. That was co-run by the lovely Nicola at Number 12 Stitch Co. That, you know, this is a design called Simoon's Basket. Now, she wanted it done as a little pillow. This is an antique reproduction. Oh, I forgot to get it out of the box. I'll put some pictures up on Insta or something later. Of a beautiful little antique flower basket. That was a beautiful antique needlepoint that I got from France. I didn't go to France, but, you know, that's where it came from. And I added just this simple border with all the colours used in there, just to add a bit of definition. Now, this is done in Nicola's gorgeous fabric called French Pear, which is, I don't know that it shows very well on camera, but it's such a beautiful, soft green. I absolutely love it. It's hard to photograph sometimes, but in person, it's just beautiful. It's one of my favourites. And yes, she asked me to do this as a retreat exclusive, so it's nice to be able to release this more widely now. This is done in overdyes with Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works, and Classic Colourworks. But of course, there's a DMC conversion, and a lot of them only use a very small amount. So if you have any of them in stash, use them. Use the rest for DMC. It's going to be beautiful. This was a really fun little stitch. Nicola wanted it as a pillow because originally she had a little message thing, memorial, you know, souvenir thing on the back. The pattern that you get will just be the front. And yeah, I think it would look lovely in a little frame as well. I've done it as a very squishy pillow here. It's very squish. But I think it would look lovely in a little frame as well. This was done on 36 count, so if you do it on 32, it will be bigger as well and would look lovely in a frame. Really nice if you just want some pretty happy flowers, which frankly we could all use at the moment. So that's called Simone's Basket. That will be available somewhere for Marketplace. Another one that is actually a re-release was for Expo years ago. We were sort of challenged to do a cat pattern, and I did this one called No Ordinary Cats. This is a quote from a great French writer that I really like called Colette. And she did this wonderful quote, there are no such thing as ordinary cats. So I did this little critter here. And so that was an exclusive for Expo some years ago. And I've had so many people ask me to re-release it because people have stitched it in different colours for their own cats and things. And it's got a little bit of a Halloween-y vibe, but I don't really do Halloween, so it's kind of nice to do that. I've had so many requests to re-release it, so I thought, oh, well, we'll do that now. This is stitched again in overdyes and DMC for the eyes because there's only 2 stitches, and I did that on Legacy Linen corn tassel, but any kind of neutral would do for that. This is 37 count, so it's small, so if you do it on a different size it'll be bigger. Really quick, easy pattern, and something that would be lovely to do for a gift as well. If you have a friend with a lovely little furry friend, you could stitch up a version of their cat and give it to them. So that's No Ordinary Cats. That will be available somewhere. I think we're going to go with that. Let me have more peppermint tea. Okay, I actually have 8 new releases. It's the most I've ever had. And I was really hoping to do well at Marketplace this year as a small business. It's hard at the best of times, and now I gotta try and laugh, don't I? Anyway, that was 1 and 2. The next 2 releases were also retreat exclusives. These are start of a new series. I have, that is called Emu View, and this one's called Kangaroo Avenue. I'm doing a new series that I'm calling Home Together, which is about the kind of, I'm going to put like different forms of architecture and stuff, and as well as the animals and wildlife that we sort of share our environments with. So I thought I'd start off with a couple of Aussie ones, but there will be international ones coming. Now this one, we've got a lovely big red kangaroo hopping across there under a gum tree, and this is a particular type of house architecture in Australia called a Federation style house. And it was really funny, one of my friends, Kate, said, oh, it looks just like my house. And I was like, look at you. So that's a really quick, easy little stitch that's just so cute and happy. And this one I've called Emu View. So it's got the emu and the little baby emus that I just love. They got little legs. They're so cute. And sometimes when you're driving out through the country, you see these really little old farmhouses with a great big windmill next to them. So that's what I was thinking of with this one. Now, I also have another lovely friend who's stitching these on a bigger piece of fabric because there will be more coming. So that's an idea too, if you like. These are stitched in the Cottage Garden Threads bookshelf threads, of course with the DMC conversion, and I will have thread packs up in that just have enough to stitch both the designs up in my Etsy store if that's something that you would like as well. They are stitched 2/2 on 32 count platinum. So I've just finished them really simply as little pillows. And yeah, they're really quick fun stitches, and they look really nice in little frames. I originally finished them in little frames, and then I sort of thought, oh no, they'd make really cute little pillows. So that is another series that is underway. I have so many ideas of things I want to do, so that will be fun getting to those. More tea. Again, they will be available maybe for Marketplace somewhere. I love not being able to give you actual information. Okay. Excuse me. I think I'm through the worst of the stress now. Having to talk about these things publicly is really stressful. So thank you for bearing with me. The last one that is a previous exclusive, oh dear, cough and spluttering, is a Sugar Glider, which was originally published in Homespun Australia magazine. I really love stitching this one. It's a little sugar glider perched on a tree and surrounded by lots of lovely Aussie flowers. I was actually kind of inspired by medieval manuscripts like that. They often have these beautiful kind of full page patterns of scatterings of flowers and things, and I just gave it a bit of an Aussie twist. Again, it's actually quite small. This is on 32 count, and it stitches up quite fast. There's a fair bit of colour changes in that, but it was the only way to get the design like that. This was available just to my retreat attendees last, and I've seen a bunch of them stitch it, and it looks really lovely. Again, this is using the cottage garden threads, and I will have thread packs available on my Etsy store as well. But of course you can order the cottage garden threads from your local store too. And it has a DMC conversion like all of my patterns. But yeah, I really like stitching that. That was fun. And it's always lovely to see things in a magazine. That being said, there's supposed to be another magazine thing coming out this month, but I haven't seen it yet. It's in the US, so I won't know when the magazine is out. But just cross stitch. If you happen to see it, let me know. We can't get it here, so anyway, it's supposed to be out this month. Who knows? Another design. I thought I'd do a Christmas design because I keep promising you them and then they keep not happening. This is called Peace on Earth, Goodwill to All, because personally that's what I want. I designed this, again, my retreat attendees got this a little early, and it is stitched using beautiful, I got the hiccups again, calm down, using beautiful Cascade House embroidery silks. I will have silk thread packs up available for that as well, and of course there's a DMC conversion. And the beautiful material this is on is 36 count Perry Sandhills by Lisa from Paddock Lane Designs. It's a lovely soft pinky red, and I just kind of wanted to do a soft color palette, but the pattern is actually only 3 colors, so you could adapt it to any kind of color palette that you like. You could turn it into dark greens and white. You could do it in reds and white. You could do it in blues and white if you want to have one of those blue Christmases. So you could fit that to lots of different color palettes and lots of different fabric colors as well. So I think it stitches up really fast. It does have a few full crosses over 4 at the bottom here, so big size full crosses. The little snowflakes are Smyrnas, and these 2 bands here are darning stitch, which is basically just running stitch. There's little instructions there. It's not difficult. It just gives some nice texture to the pattern, and it kind of reminds me of like Christmas jumpers. So yeah, it was just fun. It's a collection of different trees, little houses, a little bird, and a little wish for peace in there. Yeah, I really enjoyed stitching that. It was, I'm not usually a big Christmas person, but that one I had fun with. So That's peace on earth, goodwill to all. I wish some people understood that, but anyway. Then I come to my antique reproductions that are coming out for Marketplace and available somewhere. The first one is actually a pair. And again, these were available to my retreat attendees, but now available to everybody hopefully soon. This is a pair of samplers called Anne Steaks, and I love these. I'll show you the originals. I found them. I love having a pair because you don't see that very often. These came to me from England, and there is still a hilltop school at Low Moor in Yorkshire, I believe. Moors, I expect so. I couldn't find anything about little Anne without a date, and but at least we know she went to that school. And I love how you can get a sense of the personality of the little girl who stitched them. Because this little girl wasn't interested in flowers. She didn't even put leaves on the border. She's like, no, I want to stitch the dog and I want to stitch the train. So I get the feeling she was a bit of a tomboy or something, and I just love that. And you don't see trains very often, so I was thrilled to find these. I love the dog. I'm more of a cat person myself, but I think he's a really nice looking dog. And I thought these are not only lovely like this, they'd make really good birth samplers. It'd be really easy to put the baby's name and birth date underneath there, and that would make a lovely birth sampler. Because the originals were kept so well, I think they were just kept in a drawer somewhere. They don't really seem to have any sun damage or anything because the colours are so vibrant. The closest match to them was actually DMC. So these are stitched in DMC, and I stitched them on 40 count vintage country mocha. Now I did that because I did them small because I wanted them to fit in these little standard frames, but you could stitch them any size that you want. And they're all full crosses over 2. I think the central motifs would make lovely little pillows as well. I love the little train. So that's Anne Steaks. I thought they were a really sweet little pair, and a real low cost option as well because they're just stitched in DMC. And I think I'm going to try and do that when I can, just to keep everybody's costs down and stuff. Like I said, I know times are tough, so I do that when I can. And the last one, I literally just finished stitching it the other day. It was a bit of a last minute rush, but I just really wanted to have one of my birds out as well, since people are thankfully not sick of stitching them yet. This is called Up in the Cherry Boughs. And I really love stitching this. It was I really needed I haven't had a lot of stitching time of late, so it was really nice to work on something that was so bright and vibrant and happy. Now this is an adaptation from an antique, because the antique, and the way I have charted it, I'll show you. The antique is quite badly damaged in a lot of the fabric, and I have made some changes with this one. I hope you'll forgive me. The way that the lovely Amanda stitched the birds, there's a lot of different colours in there that I wanted to simplify and just keep the palette a lot more simple. And also I wanted to make the birds a little bit more vibrant. It's not coming up so bad on camera here, but when you see it in person, it's quite hard to read the birds because she's got these really high contrast colours. If you look at it from a distance, it kind of looks like a head by itself and just this weird tail, because it's hard to read them as birds from a distance. So because of that, I made a few changes just to make the birds a little easier to read. I have also charted it with Amanda's beautiful name. So if you'd like to include that, please do. I'm considering giving this as a gift, so I haven't stitched it here, but please do consider stitching it or stitching your own name in that, or again, if you want to give it as a gift. This is stitched on number 12 Stitch Co. 36 count serial starter, which is a lovely aged pink. I haven't used it before, and we all know who that's named after. It's gorgeous. Loved stitching on it. I did hear Nicola will be going away shortly as well, and again, if you want to get some of her fabric and you're in the US, I would get it now. And it is stitched using overdyes. Again, I have a full DMC conversion, so you can of course stitch it in DMC. I think I've kept this down to 12 colours. The original, when I charted it, I think had 24, so you can see why I tried to keep it more simple. I love this border as well. The sort of creamy colour here is quite pale like the original. If you wanted it to stand out a little more, you could use a bright white, and that would make it stand out a little bit more, but I kind of liked it fading in like that. Anyway, we'll see what you think. Yeah, I just thought they were so happy. I love the movement of them and just a little bit of happiness. Thankfully, no one else is, it seems, as sick of stitching birds yet either. I know I can't seem to stop myself no matter how hard I try. So they're my new releases. Like I said, if you would like a copy, please let your shop know. But also be aware that there may be delays. It's a really evolving situation. We'll do the best to keep you informed. Yeah, it means a lot to me to be able to bring these things to you and to be part of this community, and I'll do whatever I can to stay. I was going to do a retreat recap and all of that, but I think I might do that in a day or two because this has been a lot. I'll also be able to give you an update then if we hear anything more, so I hope you'll forgive me with that for that. So at least I'll have something else pretty to show you next time too. So thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for your continued kindness and words of support. Honestly, I feel really honoured to be able to do this, and it means more than I can say. I hope that you're all well and safe, and that we can navigate these really difficult times with some grace and some taking care of ourselves by taking a moment to just sit, stitch, and read a book. Something else is coming as well on the book content vein that will come. Anyway, yeah, I might leave it there for today. I think that's enough to be getting on with, and I'll be back really, really soon. Again, thank you so much for your support and your kindness. The world needs kindness more than ever right now, so bless you, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.